Can you even do it? What does it actually take to achieve excellence? Like the kind of excellence that it takes to fulfill your dreams and your goals that perhaps God Himself put in your heart. Is it like actually even possible? I'm just kidding myself. Because maybe you don't think that you have what that person has who's doing the thing that you want to do. They just do it so effortlessly. I can't do that. Will the amount of talent that you have lead to the amount of excellence that you're dreaming of? Well, it turns out there was a groundbreaking study done to answer this very question, just for you. And the conclusion is a bit shocking. Shocking, I say. I'll tell you what the study revealed and the number one thing that you need to achieve greatness. Spoiler alert, it's not talent. Hey there, my friend. Jenna Dexter here, Christian life and mindset coach for women. And this is Total Thrive. This is where you are empowered to confidently achieve a thriving and purpose-filled life. And on your way to achieving things, how much does talent play a role? Well, according to Daniel Chambliss, who initiated a study on Olympic swimmers, he concluded that talent does not lead to excellence. That's a pretty bold statement. But you know what? It's actually biblical. In a moment, I'll tell you more details about that study and talk about where Jesus confirms the truth of that statement. But first, let me ask you something, because you might have a mindset about talent and success that we just need to break off of you right now. Just break it off right now. What thing do you dream of doing, becoming, achieving, having? And is there someone that you respect who has achieved that thing? And does it maybe feel like they have something that you don't have, like a certain level of talent? Does it seem perhaps that they were just born doing the successful thing at the level that you see them doing it at? Because I'm here to tell you, my friend, that this could not be further from the truth. German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, in the case of everything perfect, we are accustomed to abstain from asking how it became. We rejoice in the present fact as though it came out of the ground by magic. It just always was. Celine Dion came out of the womb belting "My Heart Will Go On." Anne Hathaway's first performance in an elementary school play was award-winning material. She was amazing. Give that girl an Oscar right now. Beth Moore, Priscilla Shire, Lisa Harper, name the Christian author speaker that you admire. Oh, they were just born on a stage with a Bible in their hand, speaking eloquently and captivating audiences with biblical truths. This idea that successful people who do great things were simply born doing those great things is known as the cult of genius. Those people have superpowers and an innate talent that the rest of us can't possibly attain. That person has something that I don't have, and I couldn't possibly do what they do. But ask any one of those people that you admire, and you'll find out that they worked, they sacrificed, they trained, they practiced, they experimented, they failed, and they got back up and they kept going. They swallowed their frog every day, which means they did the small, ordinary, mundane things that were also high value things that led to the results that you see them having now, the same results that you can achieve if you do those same small, ordinary, but high value things. But the thing is, you just weren't there to see it. You weren't there to see how hard it was. You weren't there to see how long it took them to succeed. You weren't there on the days when they were struggling to pick themselves back up, when they were thinking about quitting. You weren't there to see everything that they went through and the endurance that it took for them to keep being persistent, keep doing the thing, to keep honing their skills and their crafts and getting better and better and eventually breaking through and getting the success that you are longing for. Because here comes the big takeaway of this entire conversation. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Are you sure? Okay. It's not their talent that led to their success, it's what they did with it. It's not your talent that leads to your success, it's what you do with it. What are you doing with your talent? So, back to the Olympic swimmer study. Daniel Chambliss initiated the study in the 1980s with the goal of identifying the least common denominators that led to the success of Olympic swimmers. The groundbreaking study was called The Excellence of Mundanity. Okay, I literally had to look up the word mundanity because, like, what is that? Well, okay, duh, it comes from the word mundane, ordinary, right? In the end, Chambliss didn't deny the role that genetics plays in the pool, but he was unapologetic in his assessment. Simply put, talent does not lead to excellence. That's what he concluded from this groundbreaking study. So, what does lead to excellence? Well, we just talked about it, didn't we? It's about consistently showing up, putting in the work, and it's about working smarter. The study reveals that excellence requires doing small, ordinary things consistently right. That's why it's called mundanity. You do small, ordinary, mundane things consistently right. But what does right mean? Right is the quality of what you're doing. It's about working smarter, not just harder and more. The study also shows us that small qualitative differences over time lead to excellent and perfect habits. So, qualitative differences for swimmers would be it's not just about doing more breaststrokes, it's about changing the way you do a breaststroke. Not just competing in local meets, but competing in regional meets, higher level meets. Michael Phelps is the most decorated Olympian of all time. He's won 23 gold medals. And it's like his body was tailor made for the pool, no doubt. But it wasn't his 6 foot 7 inch wingspan or his size 14 flippers or his freakishly long torso that won those gold medals. And it wasn't whatever natural talent he may have been born with. It's what he did with what he had been given. God gave him the body built for swimming. God gave him talent, but it's what Michael Phelps chose to do with what he had been given that won those gold medals. It was his insane work ethic and the quality of his training and his lifestyle. And it was the quality of his coaching. Getting the right coach, instructor, or mentor to help guide, teach, and support you can make all the difference in the world in achieving your dreams and your goals. Which is why I love life coaching, of course, because it is so much fun to watch these women who took a big step and decided to show up and say, I'm ready for some significant life transformation. Let's do this. If you'd like to learn more about coaching with me, you can go to totalthrive.com, which I'll link in the description. And while you're there, you can download the free Discover Your Purpose Guide, where you can get clarity on your unique purpose, calling, and God given destiny. Now, obviously, talent counts for something in achieving excellence. Otherwise, why would God give us talents? But it's in the parable of the talents where Jesus talks about how simply having a talent does nothing to help it grow unless you do something with it. So the story goes that a wealthy man went on a trip and he left 3 of his servants with talents. To one he gave 5, to another he gave 3, and to another he gave 1. And if you know the story, you know that the ones with 5 and 3 invested their talents and they made them grow. But the servant with 1 talent buried it. He just buried it. And the Bible says that he actually had fear. He was actually afraid to do anything with his talent. Are you afraid to do something with your talent? So he did nothing to grow his talent. He did nothing to grow it into something of excellence. And of course, the master was filled with joy over the servants who grew their talents. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. Matthew 25:23. God is so pleased and filled with joy when you partner with him, when you co-labor with him in growing the talent that he gave you. The title of that study on Olympic swimmers, The Mundanity of Excellence, is also the title of chapter 6 of Win the Day, 7 Daily Habits to Help You Stress Less and Accomplish More, written by Pastor Mark Batterson. I've been reading this book and talking about it here as I go, and I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out. But Mark has a hypothesis that he refers to again and again throughout the book that says almost anybody can accomplish almost anything if they work at it long enough, hard enough, and smart enough. However, he says it doesn't just happen. Poof! It'll involve some early mornings and some late nights. It'll involve some blood, sweat, and tears. The good news? If you do the natural, it sets God up to do something super. Notice that he says that if you do the natural, it sets up God to do something super. If you co-labor with God in doing your part, it sets him up to do his part. If you feel a calling on your life, Don't fall into the trap that says, well, if God called me to do the thing, he'll just make it happen. Because God will absolutely fulfill his promises, but he is under no obligation to fulfill your potential. That's up to you, my friend. That's your job. And it's your choice because you have free will. Now, it might be super small growth and progress, but don't despise small beginnings. That comes from Zechariah 4:10. I also get that you may have begun a long time ago and you're doing your part and you're being diligent and you're enduring and you're persevering and you're doing and you're waiting. And it doesn't seem like God's doing the super. You're doing the natural. When is God going to do the super? But rest assured, my friend, that what you plant will be the very thing that you harvest. Galatians 6:7. If you plant a little tiny talent seed and you nurture it and you feed it and you water it and you give it time and you persevere and you endure, that little tiny seed will grow into whatever it is that you planted. The season of harvest will come in his perfect timing. It's a biblical promise. Again, you can trust that he will fulfill his promise, but he's not under obligation to fulfill your potential. You plant and water the seed, he will make it grow in his perfect timing. But you can't give up before the season of harvest comes. And what if that season of harvest is right around the corner? What if that season of harvest is tomorrow, but you give up today? Back to this cult of genius thing and this idea that others were simply born amazing and that they have something that you don't have. Mark Batterson says it's easy to envy the success of others while ignoring the sacrifices that made it possible. Quit envying their outcomes and start imitating their inputs. That's a great quote. Quit envying their outcomes and start imitating their inputs. Reverse engineer people you respect. What did they do to get where they are? Particularly, see if you can figure out what qualitative difference. What did they do of a higher quality than other people who have not achieved the level of success have done? What sets them apart? What are they doing differently? What do they got going on? I need me some of that. And then set in your mind that you're going to do the thing. Let them be an inspiration to you. Let what they went through and did and overcame inspire you. So let's get practical right now. Stop and think about what it is that you want to be excellent at and what you can do to uplevel the quality of what you're doing. If you're a writer, what is one small thing that you can do to hone your craft? Perhaps you can work on writing more concisely and then practice writing concisely until you master it and then keep practicing it. If you're a dancer, what is one skill, one dance move that you can analyze, perhaps recognize that you're not quite doing it correctly, if there's a correct way to do it, or if there's a better way to do it, and then practice it over and over and over again the right way. But beyond thinking about a specific skill, think about things like if you're a writer, how can I write a more effective book proposal that will actually help my book get published? What writing conferences can you go to that will put you in close proximity to people who are already doing the thing that you want to do, that you can learn from and glean from and connect with, who can inspire you to believe that you actually can do the thing and give you a roadmap for how to do it? As a dancer, think about ways that you can maybe improve your nutrition, maybe ways that you can go to the gym and do workouts there, not just dancing, but like workouts that will give you more quality results. How can you work with a higher level instructor or audition for a higher level dance company or dance competition? The quality of how you work on your craft is one thing, but it's also about not going to local swim meets if you're a swimmer, but going to those regional swim meets. In other words, if you want to be excellent at something, do what the excellent people are doing. Go where they go. Learn from people that they're learning from. Make connections with people that will help you become more excellent. And expand your mind to think bigger and believe bigger. Never doubt God's mighty power to work in you and accomplish all this. He will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination. He will outdo them all, for his miraculous power constantly energizes you. Ephesians 3:20. So think big, my friend, and believe that God is with you, that He wants the best for you, and His miraculous power constantly energizes you. And if your dream is to swim with the big fish, then go where the big fish are swimming and be like Dory the fish. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do you do when you swim? You swim, swim, swim. Learn more about achieving your dreams by watching this video next. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Now off you go, girl. Take the talent that God gave you and do something with it.